Hey book buddies, it's Katy here, and today I'm going to be talking about cozy mystery novels. I've been going through it in terms of life, and I found that because of that, I've really only been able to read cozy mystery novels without wanting to cry my eyes out. So I've read kind of a lot of those recently. Also, if the camera is shaky, it's because you're on my bed. Sorry. The first cozy mystery that I read this year was The Secret Book and Scone Society by Ellery Adams. This book is about a group of women who live in a small town, I think it's in Virginia, and this town has a hot springs. So the hot springs is rumored to have healing abilities, and so people come to this town to heal from either physical wounds or emotional wounds, and each of these women have a different shop. So one of the women, Hester, she's my favorite, I kind of have a little bit of a crush on her. She has a bakery and she makes special baked goods that remind you of something. It's been a while, I don't really remember. Magic pastries. One woman gives really nice haircuts, one woman works at the hot springs place, and then our main character, Nora, works at a bookstore, and she's like a bibliotherapist, so she can look at you and talk to you for a little bit and then know exactly what books you need to read to get over whatever you're going through emotionally. And then one day, some man gets hit by a train, and they have to solve his murder. This is a cute book. It's also the first cozy mystery that I've ever read, except for Agatha Christie. I've read my fair share of Agatha Christie novels, and I guess Nancy Drew. Do the Nancy Drew books kind of count as cozy mysteries? Because I used to devour those as a little girl. Like, what's the consensus on that? My favorite part of this book was the camaraderie. It's really nice to see women be friends in books. I feel like a lot of the books that I read, there's not a big group of female friends, and if there are women who interact with each other, they have this weird competition thing that I hate to read and see. So it was really nice to read about a group of friends who just had each other's backs. It felt like when you're in elementary school and you read those middle grade books where all the girls are best friends. Like, what were those dolls, and they had yarn hair and they were best friends and they had this middle grade series. You know, is that just me? Like, I really missed those. Those were so warm for me, and this book somehow had that energy. I will say that some of the writing has, I don't know how to put this, but like well-meaning middle-aged mom energy. So like in terms of social progressiveness, you can tell that Ellery Adams was trying, but it's just a little off. In terms of just the little cozy elements, it was really nice because the main character works in a bookshop and she lives in a train cart, like the Boxcar Children, and she calls it Caboose Cottage. I now have one goal for the future, and that is to live in a caboose cottage. I feel like I could do Caboose Cottage. No, you know, body positivity is really hard for me lately. Should I cut that out? No, I'm gonna leave it. And she has a little tea and coffee corner in her bookshop, and she names all of the tea after like literary people. She has an Agatha Christie, and I think there's a Dorian Gray tea. It's cute. One of the reasons I did pick this book is because I thought that there wouldn't be any romance in it at all, and I was wrong. I didn't really want to read romance because I was fresh out of a breakup of like a really long-term relationship. It would have been 9 years this month, but I almost forgive it for having a romance element because it was just so absurd. The love interest's name is Old Jedediah Craig. Old Jedediah. Jedediah? Old? He's like in his 40s. I don't know why they call him Old Jedediah Craig. Like capital O. What? And when Nora first meets him, she describes his exact scent profile. Like, he picks her up because she tripped, and so he's helping her stand up, and she's like, he smells just like old books and wood chips and pine needles baked in the sun. Oh, fresh baked apples, I think is what it was. She just goes through like his whole aroma like she's at a wine tasting. And then when he picks her up, he whispers in her ear, like, you smell like blueberries. Like, why are you guys smelling each other like this? What's going on? You know when you meet a new person and you're like, yeah, I'm catching a whiff of freshly baked ziti. What is that? I laughed so hard. The mystery itself, you kind of figure it out really early on because the main characters sort of know who did it, but they're just trying to figure out how to prove that who they think did it. And it just becomes really intense in terms of like violence towards the end, so trigger warning for that. But overall, I really liked it and I gave it 4 stars. The next book that I tried to read but DNF'd was called Tea and Treachery. And this book wasn't actually bad. The reason I DNF'd it is because one of the main characters is a grandmother, and I can't do that right now, so. But it was good. The main character owns a tea shop by the sea, and her grandmother gets framed for murder, and she's trying to clear her name. It's fun. It was fun. I got about halfway through it. The main character's best friend's name is Bernie, and she's a tall woman with ginger hair and lots of tattoos, so Bernie was my favorite character. But ultimately, I don't want to rate it because I didn't finish it because I got too sad about the grandma thing. Next, I listened to the audiobooks for the first 2 installments of The Vampire Knitting Club by Nancy Warren. Katherine, my love, recommended this to me, and she was so right. They're fantastic. The vibes are... The reason I didn't continue this series is because, again, one of the main characters is a grandmother. It's really hard to find cozy mysteries that don't heavily feature grandmothers, I noticed, and I really can't. I can't do it. But the plot of these books is that the main character, whose name I think is Lucy, it's been a bit, she discovers that she's a witch, and her grandmother gets turned into a vampire, and so she has to take over her grandmother's knitting shop and just solve various murders in the town. They live in like Oxford Square or close to that, and it's really cute. My favorite subgenre of cozy books is just like casual witch books, just like a witch living their life. I love it. Especially if they have a cat, and there's a cat in these books. Her name is Nyx. So, good stuff. I loved both of those and I gave them both 5 stars, and they're really short listens and they're pretty good. I'll probably finish the series later when I'm less extremely damaged. The next book that I read was another audiobook, and this was called Buried in the Stacks by Alison Brooke. I had high hopes for this one and I was kind of disappointed. It's part of the Haunted Library series. So it's a woman who works in a haunted library. That sounds perfect. How did she not make this as good as I wanted it to be? I do want to say that this isn't the first book in the series. It's one of those that you can read out of order, but that could have had some bearing on my feelings towards it. I doubt it. The main character in this one can see ghosts, which is really fun, except that she's stupid. She's not a very smart main character. She's not a detective, she's a librarian, and she keeps butting into the investigator's business, finding out all the stuff that she's not supposed to know, and then she just tells people, like people who could be the suspect. She'll just say to them, like, did you know they found out this? Well, like, why are you telling people this? Stop. You can't trust them. Like, they just walked into the library and you're just telling them? Who is that? She makes silly decisions. The person who is murdered in this book was a cranky old woman who most people didn't like. And so the main character is kind of like, well, she deserved it. Just because she was kind of cranky? What? And I'm not going to spoil it for you and tell you who actually killed this woman, but I will say that one thing that frustrated me is that one of the suspects was this woman's husband, because I think that's how crime usually works. So this cranky old lady's husband is one of the prime suspects because he's her husband, and because before she died she was like, I'm afraid of my husband, he's gonna kill me. And the main character's like, I don't believe her. He seems like a nice guy. I don't think he would do that. He smiled at me before. Like, she barely knows this man, but she's like, he seems nice enough, and just completely disregards this woman saying, I'm scared of him, I think he's gonna kill me. She's like, nah, that doesn't seem likely to me. They're throwing it in there so that, you know, you won't be able to tell who did it. You know, it's all these different suspects, you know, a plethora of characters that it could have been. But you would think that she would take it more seriously. Like, if somebody told me, I think my husband's gonna kill me, and then they died, I think I would be like, her husband killed her. She can talk to ghosts, but the ghosts are useless. Her ghost best friend is pretty much just a normal woman. She's not creepy at all. It's not like she's not using a Ouija board or anything cool to communicate with her. She's just talking to her, and the ghost is just completely useless. I think her name is Evelyn. She doesn't remember how she died. She can't talk to other people who have died. She never like gets information, even though she can walk around through walls and listen to people talk and they can't see her. She doesn't do anything useful. So I don't know what the point of it being a haunted library even is. There is a cat called Smokey Joe, so that's a plus. I really miss my cat. How many more people am I gonna have to lose? And the other annoying thing about this book was that the main character's in kind of a budding relationship, which was just annoying to read about because it's not like a new relationship where it's all, oh, we're falling in love. It's cutesy and, you know, warm and cuddly. They're already dating, but they're not seriously dating. So it's just the worst phase of a relationship where you're like, hey, what is this? What are we? How much emotional energy should I be putting into this? It just is exhausting to read, and maybe I'm biased right now, but that's just how I feel about it. I am gonna read the Halloween special one when it's Halloween, because of course I am. And I might start over and read from the beginning to see if it gets any better, because they are free with my membership on Audible. They don't cost a credit, so I might go back and revisit more of the series, but I didn't really like this one. I think I would give it like 2 stars. Now I'm gonna go over some cozy mysteries that I bought that I haven't read yet. The Loch Ness Papers, a Scottish bookshop mystery by Paige Shelton. This book is about a man who's obsessed with the Loch Ness Monster and then he dies. And the main character is like, ooh, how did he die? Is the Loch Ness Monster real? Who knows? I have special feelings for the Loch Ness Monster. The next one is Pies and Prejudice by Ellery Adams. This is the woman who wrote the first cozy mystery that I read, and I liked it, so I thought I'd pick up more by her, and it's called Pies and Prejudice. Pies and Prejudice. Thank you. I don't even know what it's about. Oh, a woman who bakes pie. Oh, she catches her husband cheating. Yeah. Maybe I'll wait for this one. The next one is Crime and Poetry by Amanda Flower. This one's also one that I'm gonna have to wait to read because heavily features a grandmother, but I'm pretty sure that she's a witch. I just love the witch books. Oh yeah, a magical bookshop mystery. So the bookshop itself is magical. It has a cat and it has a grandma, so I can't read it right now, but it does look very cute, doesn't it? Next is Murder in the Storybook Cottage by Ellery Adams. This is not the first book in the series, and I started to read it and realized that I needed to read these in order, so I'm listening to the first one right now on audiobook. The first one is called Murder in the Mystery Suite. It's pretty good so far. I have like 30 minutes left of the audiobook. I'm almost done with it. I don't know who did it yet, but I do enjoy it. It's pretty good. It's, you know, Ellery Adams' writing style is fluffy and like kind of bad, but in a good way, if that makes sense. It doesn't make sense. I need to explain that better. I mean, it's very frivolous, you know, it's not like this is the best work of literature I've ever read. Like, it's kind of cheesy, but it's fun and it's cozy. So, you know, it serves its purpose. So I'm reading the first one. I think this is actually, I think, like the 4th one. So I just got it because I liked the cover. Again, a cat, a bookshop. In this one they find some lady dressed like Little Red Riding Hood just dead in a house. Cool. Murder in the Mystery Suite, the first one in this series. I think so far I would give it like maybe 3.5 stars. It's okay. But I will get to this one in the series eventually. And the last one that I bought is called Bait and Witch by Angela M. Sanders. Are you noticing a theme? I like books and cats and witches. Anyway, this is about a woman who works in the Library of Congress, and then she goes to a new library that's in a Victorian mansion, and she's a witch. Cool. Sorry about the sound quality on this. I still don't have a cord for my microphone. It would be as easy as going to Best Buy to get it, but I can't go to Best Buy because last time I went to Best Buy, I couldn't remember the password to get into my computer that was broken, that I was trying to get all of the stuff in that computer transferred into my new laptop, and it was just really embarrassing. It took me like 15 tries, I still couldn't get it, and the guy was really nice and patient, but he works there and he'll see me and he'll be like, that's the girl who couldn't remember her password, and I can't do it. I'm not going. So I'll just order one online, I guess. That's the video. Thank you all so much for watching. Please let me know in the comments what your favorite cozy mysteries are and what I should read. I do really want to read more diverse cozy mysteries because these all seem nice, but they are all, you know, very straight and white. And I know that more diverse cozy mysteries exist and they're not even that hard to find. I just haven't really done the best job of looking for them, so in the future I'm definitely going to try to find some more that are written by authors of color, or, you know, maybe disabled authors, or authors who are not straight and not cis, things like that. So if you have any of those that you really like, be sure to let me know in the comments. Again, thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all again very soon with a new video, but until then, happy reading.